If you translate English directly into French, you will sound wrong. And that's true even if your grammar is technically correct. And that's exactly how most people learn French. And make sure you stay until the end. There's a quick quiz to test what you've just learned. So today, I'm going to show you 10 very common mistakes English speakers make in French. And more importantly, how to fix them naturally. These are not advanced mistakes, they're everyday ones. And once you fix them, your French will immediately sound more natural. Some of them look correct, some of them sound okay, but all of them will make you sound non-native. Alright, let's start. Bonjour, j'espère que vous allez bien. Je suis très contente de vous retrouver aujourd'hui. C'est parti! Before we jump into the mistake, there's one key idea you need to understand. French doesn't work by translating words one by one. Instead, it works by expressing ideas the French way. So when you translate English structures directly, your sentence might be grammatically okay, but it still sounds off. And that's why this matters so much. You don't translate French, you understand how it works. Alright, now let's look at the mistake. Let's start with the very common one. In English, you say, I am 20, I am cold, I am hungry. So naturally, learners translate directly and say things like Je suis 20 ans, Je suis froid, Je suis faim. Now, that sounds strange in French. And here's what you say instead. J'ai 20 ans, j'ai froid, j'ai faim. And here's why. In French, these are things you have, not things you are. Once you see that logic, this mistake becomes much easier to avoid. Now, let's move on to the next mistake, because this one is everywhere too. In English, you say, I miss you. So again, learners translate directly and say, Je te manque. But here's the issue. That actually means you miss me. Je te manque is correct French. Just not when you mean I miss you. So, if you want to say I miss you in French, what you say is Tu me manques. And here's the logic behind it. In French, the person who is missed becomes the subject of the sentence. Quick tip you can actually steal. True story. This one confused me too when I learned English. And believe me, this really works. In French, we say Tu me manques. So when I learned English, I had to flip the logic in my head. At first, I kept telling myself, okay, it's inverted. And then I repeated it over and over with friends, with family, even with random things. And now it's automatic. Alright, back to French. Now let's move on to the next mistake. This one comes straight from English. In English you say, I have lived here for 2 years. So learners say, J'ai habité ici depuis 2 ans. Grammatically, that looks fine, but in French, that's not how it works. And here's why. When something started in the past and is still true now, French uses the present tense. So what you say is J'habite ici depuis 2 ans. You can also say Ça fait 2 ans que j'habite ici. And that's because French focuses on duration, not just on the starting point. Alright, next one. This is a classic first phrase. In English, actually means in fact. So learners say, Actuellement, j'aime le café. But that sounds wrong in French. And here's why. Actuellement means currently, right now. So if you mean actually, what you say is en fait or en réalité. Alright, let's move on. In English, you say I'm going to visit my friends. So learners say je vais visiter mon ami. But that doesn't really work in French. And here's the logic. In French, you don't visit a person. You pay your visit to someone. That's exactly why French says rendre visite à quelqu'un. So you say je vais rendre visite à mon ami. But je vais visiter Paris. That one works perfectly because Paris is a place. Quick note, before we continue, if this is helping you so far and you want to keep improving your French, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next lessons. Everything here is based on how French is actually used in real life. So you don't just learn rules, you learn what sounds natural. Alright, back to it. Learners often say je seulement veux comprendre. That sounds unnatural in French. What you say instead is je veux seulement comprendre. That's because in French, the adverb usually comes after the verb. Small change, big difference. Alright, next one. In English, to attend means to go to. But in French, attendre means to wait. So when someone says j'attends la réunion, they're actually saying I am waiting for the meeting. If you mean attend, what you say is j'assiste à la réunion or je vais à la réunion. And if you're waiting for the bus, then yes, j'attends le bus. Alright, let's keep going. Learners often say je demande une question. But in French, a question is something you put down. So what you say is je pose une question. Same idea with coffee. You don't say je demande un café. Instead, you say je commande un café. Different verbs, different ideas. Alright, next one. In English, you say I passed my exam. So learners say j'ai passé mon examen. In French, that usually just means you took it. If you mean success, what you say is j'ai réussi mon examen. Same thing with time. With time. Instead of just saying j'ai passé 2 heures, you say j'ai passé 2 heures à étudier. French needs the extra information. Alright, last one. In English you say you too. In French you say toi aussi, vous aussi, and that's it. You wouldn't say et toi in this situation. Before we finish, here's a quick fluency tip. And this one really helps with listening. In French, you can absolutely say je suis parti. That's perfectly correct, very natural, and nobody will find it strange. But in real life, especially when people speak fast, you very often hear je suis parti. And it's the same thing with other sentences, like je suis fatigué, je suis fatigué. Je suis désolé, je suis désolé. So if you hear suis, don't panic. It's just je suis getting compressed. So you don't need to force yourself to say it, but recognizing it will really improve your listening skills. Alright, let's check quickly. How do you say I miss you in French? Tu me manques. That's it. Good job. How do you say I've lived here for 3 years? J'habite ici depuis 3 ans. Great job. That's exactly it. You're not memorizing, you're building French. Now, tell me in the comments, did you get everything right? Was there one mistake that made you go, oh, okay, that makes sense? Let me know. I read your comments and I reply. Voilà, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Merci de m'avoir écouté jusqu'au bout. J'espère que cette vidéo vous a été utile. À très bientôt dans la prochaine vidéo. D'ici là, portez-vous bien.